Yeah, the General Secretary of the People Power Movement, stroke National Unity Platform, that is David Lewis Lubongoya. Yeah, the gentleman himself, you know him very well, right there next to the president of the National Unity Platform, our president-elect. He has just written a very emotional, powerful message to the president. The message says, "To you, Mr. President, congratulations. You have defied the odds. You have inspired a generation and captivated a nation. You have become a beacon of hope for a hopeless nation. You have caused the young to dream and the old to dream again. You have carried on your back a burden of the people's struggle and done so with a rare courage, commitment, and fortitude. You have been harassed, brutalized, and traumatized. On the campaign trail, you saw friends and comrades maimed and murdered. You saw Dan Magic lose teeth in a split second and Frank lose a life in an instant. As you reported the death of Frank to the world saw how this responsibility weighs heavily on you. I don't know what to tell the parents of these young people who are killed," you said.
Omwana abandi oyo munsasire nze baganda bange simanyi bwenyinza kunnyonnyola abazadde b'abaana abo simanyi nammwe bwenyinza bannyonnyola.
Amidst sobs from those who gathered around, I have seen you in the studio working on a song and wishing Nubian Lee was there to energize you. Yet alongside countless other comrades, Nubian Lee still lives under lock and key. For no crime whatsoever. You have been humiliated, you have been betrayed, you have been isolated. As I write this, you cannot leave the precincts of your home, simply for running for the highest office in the land. Yet in all this, amidst all these indignities and challenges, you have kept your head and remained true to your core. Anyone could give up, but you have remained steadfast. Even when you've come to the wall and it is wearing all over, you have called us to a short prayer and encouraged us to march on. Byebakama may not have announced you president-elect, but Ugandans know that you won because you won their hearts. I am certainly very honored to work alongside you as we struggle to redeem our nation from the fangs of violence and oppression. May God bless you and keep you. May God shine his face on you and your family. May God grant that you lead us to a new Uganda. That has been the message from our secretary. We usually call him GS, General Secretary, of the National Unity Platform. About this gentleman, he is actually a Ugandan lawyer. When you go to his LinkedIn account, about the About section says, this is what he put there: "I am a Ugandan lawyer, lecturer at law and social activist. My professional areas of interests include good governance and the rule of law in sub-Saharan Africa, democratization, policy, analysis, and access to justice for all, human rights, civil and political rights, socio-economic rights, minority rights, and children's rights. I have ability to articulate issues for debate. In addition, I am able to work as part of a team and, if required, could offer leadership. I am also passionate about international relations. I love working and empowering young people. I am a member of Uganda Law Society and the East African Law Society." Recently, on the 6th of January, as our secretary was celebrating his birthday, Kyagulanyi as well came up with a short but a very strong message toward this General Secretary. Bobby Wine said, "So in 2016, I wanted to take on a new role in my life, but I needed extra knowledge. So I enrolled myself into law school. As new law students, we had been briefed about our new lecturer fresh from the prestigious Harvard Law School. That evening, a serious young man showed up in class to teach us constitutional law and introduced himself to us as David Lewis Lubongoya. That is how I met my favorite lecturer. And that's how constitutional law became my favorite course unit. We became friends and kept discussing Uganda and its annoying politics and how we are studying constitutional law in a country that has no respect for constitutionalism whatsoever. Long story short, my teacher and I left law school to deal with Uganda's political problems face to face. And here we are. I credit you, brother, for a wide range of knowledge that you have shared with me and my other ghetto youth. But most importantly, I salute you for leaving your comfort zone of very highly paying jobs and prestige for the sake of our country. Thank you for taking that risk. My prayer is that you never ever regret that decision in life. A very happy birthday to you, comrade, and may you live to witness a free Uganda where there is respect for the rule of law. I also promise that I'll one day get back to law school and finish my course. Wow. So that was a message from the president, that is Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert aka Bobi Wine, to David Lewis Lubongoya. So that is him. That is David Lewis Lubongoya. On the 22nd of August still, he came up with an insight of what happened in Arua, trying to remind us those incidents, like how he viewed them, his perspective on those incidents. That is David Lewis Lubongoya. This is what he said on the Arua and the Museveni statements. He said, in August 2018, I was one of the very few people who saw Honorable Kyagulanyi in Makindye military prison. 3 days after he was tortured, we waited for hours upon hours, and after we had gotten clearance from above, a few family members, lawyers, Kampala Road Mayor, and officials from the Uganda Human Rights Commission were allowed in. I had never been checked as much all my life. We went through 3 checkpoints, our pens were repressed, sunglasses were taken away, and each button on our garment was thoroughly scrutinized, just in case there was a camera. The small house in which he was surrounded by men-looking military men holding big guns. You would think they were guarding a war criminal. On getting into the room, we sat with bated breath. No one spoke a word. We waited. The silence, the suspense. About 20 minutes later, Honorable Kyagulanyi was brought in. He was being carried by 3 soldiers. He was dressed in a red sleeveless shirt and red shorts, ordinarily worn by prisoners at the detention facility, written on MP for military police. He could hardly see. Even when he tried to open his eyes, you could see that one of his eyes was so red and swollen. There was a swollen mark cutting. Through his eyes and the nose. He was writhing in pain. His entire face was swollen. Fresh marks of blood were visible on his face and one of the ears. A little later, he showed us his back and mayhem. The fresh signs of rashes crisscrossed his entire back. I kept asking myself what he looked like 2 days earlier when he was in this state on the 3rd day. As soon as he was brought into the room, there was a great wail. No one in that room could stand the sight of the celebrity member of parliament, who now looked like a common roach, beaten by a mob for stealing a phone on the street. Everyone, including officials from the Uganda Human Rights Commission, were crying, some loudly and others silently, holding wet handkerchiefs close to their faces. He could not sit. One of his brothers cried to hug him, and he slipped, almost falling down. He let out a very loud, painful groan, and the people cried again. It was a very dark day. I could not find sleep for the following days. Because of the pain he was undergoing, no one could immediately gather the courage to begin the conversation. All of us sat there and watched him as he struggled to breathe. It was after 30 minutes that he started narrating what had happened to him. With great difficulty, he narrated unbelievable things which they had done to him. Meanwhile, there were senior soldiers listening in to every word he said. At some point, he had to lie that they were all taking good care of him, so that when we left, they would not torture him again. At that point, they were all addressing him as honorable. They had hurriedly prepared sodas, bananas, and bread and placed it in the middle of the room to give an impression of civility. They even asked his wife to bring a suit for him the following day so that he appears presentable on his next court appearance. Meanwhile, Honorable Kyagulanyi told us how much he was being injected with steroids every few hours to reduce the swelling ahead of his next court appearance. He was taken to Kampala Imaging Center in the dead of the night, so that no one had a chance to get a glimpse of him in that state. He was very bothered about the death of Yasin Kauma and the arrested leaders at the time. And I remember we all told him everything was under good care, seeing that he was in too much pain. It would be a few more days of struggle, military detention, blockades, court appearances, presenting machine guns, hospitalization, blockade at the airport, and the eventual flying out for treatment. All this while President Museveni wrote lengthy letters daily saying that Bobi Wine was in good health and had not been tortured. Last night, when I saw him saying that Kyagulanyi was beaten properly, these memories came back to me. The Arua episode was like a very terrifying nightmare, which you would rather forget. Unfortunately, the words by the head of state, mocking and downplaying the suffering I saw with my eyes, invoked pain, anger, and sadness. I feel sorry for those who believe in the vision of the crop of people who preside over our country. Friends, of all things you should look for in leaders, let's look for empathy. A leader who cannot accept responsibility for his actions and has no sense of empathy deserves no place in leadership in the 21st century. A leader who takes pleasure in the torture and brutal treatment of his political opponents is a sad spectacle. God grant that we shall soon see a new day in the leadership of our country. That was an insight from David Lewis Rubongoya. That is the General Secretary of the People Power Movement.